What's going on, everybody? Andrew Thompson here, the Andrew Thompson Interviews YouTube channel. I'm currently sitting next to this wonderful lady, Trish Adora. Take two. Trish, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
So, as I mentioned before, you had a lot of support from the interview that we dropped this past Thursday. You had a lot of great reactions. How does it feel to have your fellow wrestlers show you so much love?
You know, I think it's cool. I'm very private. I keep a pretty low profile in person, and and sometimes online too. So interviews are kind of a way that I could sort of take my armor off a little bit and let people know a little bit about me. So.
All right. So one of the comments that I received from the interview was from Big Swole, and she had a lot of good things to say about you, as you can tell. When will be the next time that fans can expect to see you versus Big Swole in the ring?
Look, whenever. Y'all can pick a time, pick a date, pick a venue, whenever. I would be ready to do that at any time. So whenever she wants that, we can do it.
Yeah, so I know me and you talked about representation in wrestling before. How is it important to you to have representation in wrestling, just in all companies, all promotions?
So I think that representation is important because I received that gift. You know what I mean? When I was younger, I watched Jacqueline wrestle, and I thought that was so cool. That was like one of the first black women I ever seen like wrestling. Then I saw Jazz, and they were just tough as nails. They were in there, with the guys just making a name for themselves. And I thought that was so cool as a kid growing up. And I think it's even cooler that, now I'm wrestling, and maybe I can be that for some kid, so we can keep giving that gift.
So I wanted to ask you, so was Hood Slam, was that like a gateway for you to get to Wrestle One?
Yes, a direct line, actually. They were doing a seminar there. Wrestle One was doing a seminar, and it was on the same day as a show that I was booked on, and I was like, oh man, shoot, I don't have enough, to do the seminar. And so one of my homegirls, Kiki, looked out and paid for me to do the seminar, and the rest is history.
So tell me about the experience in Japan, wrestling in Japan, the culture there. Like, just tell me all about your experience there, because I'm pretty sure it was a good one.
Oh yeah, Japan is beautiful. I knew the minute I got off the plane, I was like, all right, when can I come back? Just the minute. I didn't even leave the airport yet, and I was like, all right, I gotta come back. It was just a very positive experience. The entire vibe, it just changes something inside you, to just experience another world. Just to experience another world like that. I didn't really know what to expect coming into it. And I didn't really, sorry, that was kind of distracting. Sorry. We're going to have to edit that part out. No. But, yeah, so, sorry, let me start over and answer the question. Ask the question again. I'm sorry.
It was, tell me about your experience in Japan for Wrestle One.
Well, you are going to edit this, right?
Oh, yeah. Maybe.
Sure
Maybe. We might keep the raw footage. We might keep the raw footage. Of course, we got to keep it. There you go, the man himself right there.
Uh-oh. Okay.
That's Chris Levin, by the way.
But, yeah, so being in Japan was beautiful because just even stepping off the plane and just feeling the vibe from another culture, just being, kind of a hot commodity felt pretty cool. People were looking at me everywhere I went, between the clothes and the hair, and just, they were just kind of, I was like a walking, talking billboard, A few people took pictures with me and things like that. Everybody was like, super respectful, wrestling at Kurikan Hall, like, that's kind of crazy. Like, that just kind of like changed how I feel about wrestling as a whole. There's certain places that along your journey, you're just like, all right, I don't know if I'm going to get there, or maybe I should just change my goals, or, just try to make adjustments because there's something you just don't think you're going to get. Right. And going to Japan taught me that I don't have to change my goals. I can do it my way, and my way can still be the right way. And I can still end up in Japan like everybody else that was there. We all took different paths, but they all lead to there. And I appreciate Wrestle One so much, for seeing something in me at the seminar, for taking a chance on me being in the first class, Bro Keller. No, you're good. But yeah, just being in Japan just kind of taught me that that I don't have to change my goals. I can do it my way, and I can still check things off my list. So.
Now, speaking of Japan, would you ever be interested in making a trip to Stardom?
But yes, still yes. I mean, is it going back? Yep. When we going? No, I would love that. It would be such an honor to be able to share the ring with Japanese wrestling. I think that Japanese wrestlers just have such a way about them and such this standard, and it's across the board, and you can just see it in the way that they work and the way that they interact with each other, the way they just they welcome me. I'm thinking we're like friends or something, and, they're just like, hey, how are you? And it's just such a crazy vibe, such a crazy vibe backstage.
So I did want to bring this up. So tonight at the Primetime Pro Wrestling Show, we saw Osei Edwards become the Primetime Pro Wrestling World Champion. And we were talking about representation earlier this year. I know Bobby Lashley, he was the 9th African American WWE Intercontinental Champion. I know Ricochet was the 8th African American U.S. champion. Just going back to representation again. So just seeing seeing black people rise to the success in professional wrestling in a sport that is, I'm not afraid to say it's like a predominantly white sport. But like now you see wrestling nowadays, you see more black stars rising and speaking out against issues. Just talk to me about like what you've seen this year as far as black excellence in professional wrestling.
Look, we are not playing with y'all no more. We've been trying to tell y'all that we not playing. No, but people are just putting on, they're putting on for the culture. They're putting on from where they're from. And I think that is so cool, and we're all so different, and we're all doing it our way. And just the brotherhood and the sisterhood, across orientations and genders and things like that. I think that it's just such a tight-knit, good group of people. Like some of the best people I've ever met. Shout out to Johnny Cross. He's a very good friend of mine, a founder of the Pan-African World Diaspora Tournament. We deployed to Afghanistan together. I consider him a brother, and just meeting people like him and meeting other people like O'Shea, who's like so cool, meeting Faye, Big Swole, who's like just a class act on every level. I'm just so proud of black wrestling, and we're just going to keep going. We're going to keep going. So
I got 3 more questions for Trish before we wrap it up. Okay. First thing I want to ask you, are you, and give us a little scoop here, if you do, are you going to be a part of GCW's For The Culture show next year, WrestleMania weekend? Have you heard of that actually? Have you heard about the show? No, you really ever heard about it? For real? So okay, so this is what happened. Well, I don't think it was directly spawned from this, but I think it was in the works, and it just got announced around the time with the ACH situation that GCW and Aaron, I don't want to get his name wrong, Aaron Gray, he announced that it was going to be a show called For The Culture, WrestleMania weekend, and it's going to be all black wrestlers, show for black wrestling fans. I think it's going to be produced and put together by black people. So I just want to ask you if you would be interested, because we're going to put this out there. Will you be interested in participating in that show? I think the look is telling y'all book
Adora Wrestling at gmail.com. We can set this thing up and we can do this thing. We can. I'm wide open. Anything that's for the culture, it's for me. So I would love to be a part of something like that. I think that's important to see. I think it's important to be a part of. I think that it's just all through and through very, very important for the culture.
Now, I do want to thank you for your service. Thank you. So tell me about how those experiences helped shape you into the person you are today and the professional wrestler that you are today.
Being tough is something that's just kind of instilled in me, from, the DC upbringing. And, I served 8 years in the Army, and just having that toughness just kind of put on you and put on you and put on you. It's hard to be vulnerable sometimes. So while I've learned and grown and taught myself to be tough, wrestling is starting to teach me how to be vulnerable again and how to put myself out there, with things I'm unsure of in front of complete strangers, aggressive crowds, and then having to deal with, politics and things like that, and just being a woman and then being black. There's just so many layers to the whole thing, and I don't know. I don't want to keep rambling because I got to keep going and just listening, but we're going to stop there.
Okay.
But oh no, go ahead. Okay. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was it. I was going to say stop it now because I will keep going and this and this and that.
So to wrap it up here, if y'all didn't know, Trish Adora is a Washington D.C. native, proud and born 202. So Trish, tell me, what does it mean to you? I know we spoke about this last time we did the interview, but tell me about what it means to you to be able to compete in your hometown, home city. Just the general reaction when they announced Trish Adora from Washington, D.C. How does that feel for you?
I think that is so cool. I think that everyone should get the opportunity to I feel like it's giving back to my community in a certain way, and it starts with me just performing in front of, a local crowd. And then one day it's going to end with me opening up a wrestling school in D.C., so it's just important for me to continue to give back. And I think that I'm starting here with these performances at prime time. I'm thankful to be able to work in my hometown. I'm very thankful for that. But that is just the beginning. There's so much more to be done in D.C., and I plan to be a part of that.
It is, ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful Trish Adora. Trish, I want to thank you again for your time, taking your day out to speak with me. You can catch her out all over. She will be back in Japan. Don't miss her. Trish, again, I want to thank you for your time. And GCW, you heard her first. She put her email out there for the culture, WrestleMania weekend. I want to see Trish in Tampa, Florida, tearing it down. Again, for the culture. Trish, thank you again for your time.
Thank you. And you can catch me at Trish Adora 202. That's on Instagram and that's on Twitter. I don't have a Tinder anymore. I'm off the market. But IG and Twitter is Trish Adora 202. Holler at your girl.